Should we do it like this? Hell no. I already know that dog's gonna bark at me. All right, we're not gonna stay out long because it's pretty cold, but it is what it is. Fuck it, we ball. And I have a granddaddy fit on, which is a two-piece. You know, what's a granddaddy fit? Where they don't have any fashion, so they just wear fucking swimsuits and shit. You know, well not swimsuits, but like two pieces, like shit like this. You know, it's that D-boy drip. I wouldn't call it D-boy drip, but you know, shit like that. It's not that cold, but it's a little bit cold. I know if my parents saw me, they'd be like, put a jacket on. But we're wild and dangerous. If we get sick, we get sick. But my immune system's pretty strong because I used to eat dirt as a kid. Hey, to me, I am funny. I am hilarious. All right. I feel like, you know, my shit's subtle. God damn it. All right, bro. Hold up. You want to see the fit? Even though it's the most common shit ever. Let me see if you can fit in there. Ah, shit. We're gonna put you in there. Okay, hold on. Let me cook. I gotta put you on the edge. That bitch not working, OG. That bitch not working. So we just cook? Fuck on. Can we put you right here? I'm about to give up. This shit is like not fucking working. Okay, damn. We got that granddaddy fish shit. That's that granddaddy shit, that Instagram shit. Alright. It's calm, collected. Alright, but hold on, let me drop this mail off real quick. You know, we're gonna do regular tendencies like checking the mail, saying hi to the neighbors, and then we're gonna delve. Not dive, but delve. Nah, that's not the word. We're gonna have like a semi-deep dive in the psyche of a teenage mind, right? I think it's pretty crazy because I would people say I don't want to go off what people say about me, but people say I have an interesting mind. Oh shit. Mainly of the fact that I experienced maybe almost every pocket of so-called financial stats, you know, of the so-called economic areas. What does that mean? I'm just adding extra words and shit. Basically, I lived in the motherfucking the deep dive of homelessness, shelter, Section 8, apartments, the hood, middle suburban, high suburban, and a mansion. Didn't live there, but I spent the night there. So, hey. So, maybe I could give you a full interlude of existing. And, you know, what's an add-on? I'm black. Well, I'm Afro-American plus Korean. Well, I don't know. I'm mostly black. I don't believe that shit. You know how black people be like, but you're Native American. Fuck, we know, okay? Yeah, I guess the way I see the world is so-called a peculiar fashion, people say. And I brighten their day. I call bullshit, you know? I don't believe. When I get, you know, what they glaze. When I get so-called glaze, I don't believe it. I call it strictly bullshit, you know? So maybe the underlooming question is, why would people say that? I have no idea. But I guess I don't like saying black, you know, because it feel like a derogatory term. But Afro-American sounds extra. Being just an individual that is with African descent and a male, I guess. I don't know. People don't like saying that. A boy, you know. My struggles are, you know, aligned to a lot of people of so-called minority class. And even though with those struggles, I'm not a dickhead about it and I don't flourish, you know, because I know in some instances I'm blessed to even have a platform to articulate myself and understanding how to live. So with that, but then you have people who are disillusioned in their own being, not knowing what they are just by how they look. So I feel like looks have a strong sense of like insanity to it. It makes you go crazy when you obsess with something. But that's what's anything, right? But I want to tell you this now. My perspective is ever changing, so you won't agree with me 24/7, you know? One thing I know a lot of people won't agree with me is I don't really get into politics, even though I can damn near vote now. I don't, because that one vote won't really change anything, you know? But if everybody thought like that, I always had a conspiracy that they already had it picked out. You know, I think it's just like for show and glamour, like the NFL draft. It's just like for show and glamour who they're gonna pick. You know, they make you think you have a decision when you really don't. So they kind of cover it up with saying it's a democracy, even though it's a sub-I dictatorship in some levels of speaking. But I can't say that because I'm not fully educated on the matter, so I gotta keep it hush hush. Anyway, Christmas is coming up by myself. Oh, that's hurt. I mean, low key, I could have like a little introspective conversation with y'all about my love life, but it's just like everybody else's though, you know. First, it's the obsession of one older lady in your life, and then they move or change schools. Then either you find a new one, you switch schools, you think you find you a girl over the summer, but y'all quit talking after that. And then you do it maybe 2 more times, having a great connection with all of them. And then either you get hurt, you lie about something, and then they vanish. Okay, then you switch schools. Got a new school. You know, this school, the fuck? This school, you're going to be like, I'm going to rebrand myself. I'm not going to be the kid known for being an asshole, juvie bullshit like that, right? No cliche movie shit. I'm just going to keep my head down, do schoolwork, maybe, intertwine in sports and shit. You do that. Then you bump into someone in the hallway on some corny shit, you know? You look at them, they look at you, and that goes on for a couple weeks, and then you finally get the courage, right, to talk to that person. Well, you didn't talk to them. You actually found them on social media. You text them, yada, yada, yada. Talk about each other, yada. And then y'all get close enough to figure out which is which, how y'all feel about each other, shit like that. And then, boom, y'all start so-called dating, right? So-called dating. It's going good for a couple months. You know, the honeymoon phase, shit like that. And then bullshit start happening, left and right. Start hearing shit about your significant other, what they did in their past, yada yada. It starts to get in your head. You start to think like, fuck, this can't be true. Then a lot of shit starts to make sense and start to connect. Lies unfolding in front of your eyes. Shit you did. Other unbelieving shit. People from their past start to come up, shit like that. And then you try to hold on for damn near a year and a half, going on 2, and then it finally crumbles. I'm trying to tell you, that shit low-key hurts. It finally crumbles after, It's either you find out last minute or you don't, So it's cheating or rumors and shit like that. You know how teenagers be. Then you move on, you still think about the person here and there. It was like so-called your first love mixed with your first obsession, because your first obsession is not love, it's not reciprocated. But then, your first love is this, and then after that, bam, you stay single, I guess, or whatever. You know how people do. I'm weighing out my options, shit like that. And then you don't meet somebody, they meet you, right? you start to talk to this individual, you know. They don't remind you of the first one. They make you feel safe and secure, so to speak, right? They're a little bit older than you know. But it's either you was connected by love or lust. So either way, you gotta figure it out. And then, you try to get over your first love with this person, not knowing you're simultaneously semi-using them, right? And they're cool, you know. And then, shit, after that, you dissipate from them. Shit like that. Or, if you're, not a black guy, but if you do those type of things, get your first pregnancy scare, shit like that. That shit make you wanna be like, damn, I'm about to be a fucking mother or father, shit like that, go on. And then, boom. Graduating high school, right? You meet someone after graduation. They're pretty cool for now. They're chilling. They're kind of... I say, like, how would that person be without... They're like, they're cool, and then you start to see they're kind of fucking crazy, like obsessed crazy. They start doing things that remind you of people in your past, and you're like, damn. I'm like, what the... Like, you're like, oh, okay. But, it's not that bad until it's just start to come up, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? This shit is starting to get weird. So you start talking to them for a couple months, they start to say shit. To talk about their mental and shit like that, and you connect with them. But your first love is still in the back of your head. But you were young, so you don't understand that you really love that person. You more think of the ideal of being with somebody was way better than actually feeling that so-called relationship, right? So like the correlation between the two is kind of vast, They're like your drug, Like once you get like hooked on it and you're addicted to it, and you have withdrawals, it kind of hurts. And she was my drug to some degree, but not every girl was like that, It's either you have a big ass whole face, or you just do stupid shit to fill that void of wanting to be with somebody, And I feel like I wouldn't say it's misguidance for not having any parents or anything. It's more of how your brains work. So, because people used to correlate the having an addictive personality to mental illness, but I never seen it as that, right? So you try to go back to your first love. It kind of works, but you still think about the shit she did, how she cheated and shit like that, and then it just didn't work. So boom, that shit's completely done. You're still on social media, so you don't stalk their page, but you post on your shit's on public. You see they still look at your story. You be like, oh, but don't get that twisted. They're just curious. They want to see how you're doing. They don't want you back because they have a new, They got a new little thing, and you just old news. You were a pretty face with no interior motive, so to speak. So with the one that was so-called crazy over you, they got their own shit going on. They're not with you 24/7. They're going somewhere with their life. So it's kind of hard to tell. It's hard to... The hell? Damn, that was so Caucasian when I said that shit. The hell? Oh, bro. But, hey, it hits you hard. You're like, damn, okay. This person really cares for me. And it's always the person that cares for you most that you don't really want. I don't know, something with the human brain. But I know I cared for that person, so to speak, you know. And I wouldn't be like, I love all the girls I ever talked to, you know what I'm saying? No, I was a dickhead. As we said, we've been over this. I was a horrible person. But, you know, I never cheated. I never, you know, stole if it wasn't need for survival or anything like that. It was more of I seen the error of my ways, but I couldn't stop because I was, like, addicted to it, you know? So, with that, and you're like, solitude. Oh, dude got a new car. That shit said for sale on the front wheelchair. He must be vibing. He got him a new BMW. But anyway, back to my unoriginal love life. You know. Okay, so bam, right. You're back to it, and then it's either you have a childish mindset with this person because you know you're trying to pick and choose of each thing that you have created in your mind where like, okay, well, this time is going to be better. This time is going to be better because I know the do's and don'ts of a relationship, right? But then you lie to her, you know? Not lie like shit like that. You lie, be like, I wasn't really in a relationship because you didn't count it as that. You was more friends with that person than anything, but it still counts, you know? You can't say it's a 30-day trial because that's your ex, you know? It's either here it is. I'm not no lover. Well, shit, I ain't no hoe. I'm a lover boy. I'm cute a punk. I'm a cute with OGs. I'm a fucking lover boy. You know, maybe because I'm a mama's boy too. So maybe that's why. But it's here it is. It's either my ex is fully infatuated with me, no matter who they're with. They'll still think about me on a daily basis, or they want me off this planet. They want me dead. That's the only two. And I really hated that I had to, when I lost my first one, well, I wouldn't say my first one as an object, but my first ever girl I talked to was like, I think it was my, like, when I had consciousness of it, not like elementary, like, I still remember one of my elementary so-called girlfriends. What was her name? I think her name was Kira or something. Oh, let me not drop her shit, but who knows? They ain't gonna find it. Her name was Kira. She had eczema. She had a raspy voice. She always wore the overalls. She was light skinned with braids and beads. That was my dog, bro. I remember she asked me, what was it? It was on a field trip. No fucking plantation. That shit was it's a fucking plantation when that shit happened. Yeah. What else? Okay, whatever. That's here or there. But back to it. I would try to establish a moral high ground with every so-called individual, right? No matter what gender, boy or girl, but does it look like I'm not gonna put that in the air? Shit, people already think that that's a black ass squirrel. be easy, my brother. Be easy. Eat your nuts. You go ahead, get your nuts, young blood. I used to think birds and squirrels were cameras when I was younger. But anyway, back to it. Right? The obsession with the first ever girl you ever with, you know? It's a clicking sensation. Like, you obsessed with the girl to the point where she even likes you for a little minute, but, you know, you switch schools or something, and, you know, you start disconnecting. You know, you still texting her on social media and shit like that while you're in other schools, but, like, you know, there's people there, so you over the phone and people in real life is way different. And the way I see it now, I feel like if younger me looked at myself now, he would be like, what the fuck are you doing, bro? He's like, I expected you to be some big ass fucking singer, football player, doctor by now. And I'm like, he's like, bro. I'm like, and I know he's looking at me like, nigga, you're 17 and you got shit going for you, bro. You're not even playing football anymore. You're not going. You're not even in college. all you doing is yapping to a phone and working, bro. Like, that's it. That's all you doing. And writing down your thoughts, trying to create a new type of thinking. Like, the fuck are you doing? You wasting your fucking life. Maybe, but who fucking knows? Cause the mentality that I had when I was younger was way more profound. I feel like I wasn't conscious, but I was still writing shit down in that little book about everything, you know? So maybe my younger self would hold myself now to a different standard. I don't know. Who knows? Because as I said, as you grow older, the person that you were before is gone. You still got the memories and everything you hold, but at the same time, that person you once were is gone. You know, once you die, it's the memories that your family or whoever you impacted over the years, that's what they hold. And I feel like that's why I want to be so-called famous. So I can be remembered by multiple people, not just my intermittent family, you know? So my memory doesn't die so fast. Like a match, you know? But I couldn't really tell you though. But does my love life stop at the girl uh, that was kind of crazy over me, but I didn't reciprocate in the exact fashion? Well, I think the reason that was because please don't hit me, OG. I think that was because mainly I'm kid a buck. I think I met her during school, like for a shallow reason. I met her like during I was getting like fucking physicals or some shit, and I was playing baseball at the time. That's when I met her. I still like that girl, you know. She's cool, but I know I'm too shallow of a person to hold her to it. You know, she said she'll wait for me, and I was like, don't do that, because not because I'm just because we all know I'm dog shit and I'm trying to change, but I tell her don't wait for me because I see her doing something way better than trying to figure out what I got going on. You know, the human mind is so complex. But for some reason, she thinks I'm so fucking special. But that's with everybody, no matter who you date. You love them for one of those type of reasons. But she sees me as special because I see the world and my so-called how I'm so opinionated and I don't know. I don't see myself as that. I don't see myself as no fucking wannabe loser type shit, but I see myself as not knowing here and there because I was always just like dead ass. I was semi in autopilot when I was in high school. You know, I was doing shit for, you know how fucking boys are, just horny niggas all day. I was doing it for my manhood and my pride. That's the only thing I was doing this shit for, you know. But I was keeping my head down simultaneously, so you figure out how that contradicts and you cause issues, and then yeah. High school is just a cesspool of horny boys and girls and rumors. That's it. And drugs. Don't forget that. And experiment. That's it. I say if that 20% of them actually do something with their lives, that's not just a regular job. And I'm not in that percentile. I'm in that percentile of not knowing what the fuck to do. Right? Like the maturity level is different. But even as I say that, I still had these overcoming unrealistic dreams of being something so big to the point where I'm international, right? But not as an entertainer, not as no like Twitch streamer like those, right? More of a I guess an artist of everything. But I don't know now, cause you know how my mind fluctuates and I'm not mentally stable how I want to be, and I damn sure ain't going to therapy again. That shit. I wouldn't even say it's for the Caucasian folks or the less melanatedly gifted. I just think therapy is only good when you want to be therapized or some shit, or when you want it. Because if you don't want the therapy and you go to it, it's just a waste of money. It's a waste of time, you and that person, you know, trying to break the outer shell. Because then if you're a know-it-all and you like, well, you start to question the so-called therapist. Even though I wanted to be a psychologist, you know, I wanted to understand the human mind. I wanted to be a brain neurologist, all of that. I wanted to know how the brain worked and how emotions collapse with it, you know. But now it's like, damn, what to do now? Like, I'm too old to still be figuring shit out. I'm too old, bro. Too fucking old. Like, even though still can't vote, still can't drink or drive, still can't drink. I still can't drink and shit. But in my head, I'm too old. Not because of the. There's a study of how like social media is like not killing the brain, but it's molding it in a negative limelight. You know how it can towards your perspective of you being behind and makes you semi-depressed. Just like how each movies and stuff used to make. Each movie used to make you insecure about your weight and have people gouging and being anorexic in some type of way. You know, it's pretty wild. And it's just, I don't know. You know, you always get that one person where you'll figure it out sooner or later. And then you're fucking 40 years old. You know, not shit. I wouldn't say it. Well, how the economy is. You're fucking 40 years old and in your mom's basement or some shit, still playing video games. And you know, that's I wouldn't say that's a shit life. Yeah, that might be a wonderful life for some people, but me, you know, I couldn't see myself doing that. It's rather, you know, it's always get rich or die trying. You know, that's the oversimplification of life for, I guess, the young hustler, the black man, or any person at that. So you can't blame your struggles. You gotta blame yourself. But what the shit? Should I finish about the love life? Cause right now the way I'm talking it makes me seem like I'm a hoe. You know, some hoes be like I'm not a hoe. You know, and then some hoes are self-aware. Out of my whole life, even though it hasn't even been 2 decades yet, out of my whole life, I have only talked to 4 girls. And when I mean talk, I don't mean like, oh, doing the devil's tangle with them and shit like that. It's just like having a meaningful connection. They boys say third time's the charm, but shit. The one of them was a 30-day trial, and I got left. So I was like, fuck. I guess I still got to count that. So if we're being honest, how some girls don't count some dudes because it wasn't as pleasing in the mental or physical stimulation. If we're going by that logic, even though it's dumb, I have fully only talked to 2 girls. You know, I only count it if I know their first and their last name. If I only know your first name and what you do here and there, I wouldn't count it. So if I know your full government name, where you live, your family, I met your family likes me, we conversated, shit like that, then yeah. But should I? I'm not even gonna. We're not doing no name drops. We only did one name drop for girl elementary, but right now, realistically, I stopped with the love finding. You know, I don't. I stopped. I was never chasing, but I stopped semi-chasing. Now, if a girl or any individual, not like that, but any individual wants to come forth and talk about their mental health and stuff like that, my Instagram's always open. You know, it's always. You can ask how I think, what type of music I like, what I'm trying to create, yada yada yada, shit like that. Yeah, go ahead. I'm all for it. Now back to the so-called love life. All right, we're not name dropping, but this one, you know how they be like, oh, fifth time's the charm. I feel like this one's gonna work. That shit already failed. And it's not even because of her or me. It's just that we semi-rusting the things. Even though I knew the girl. I knew this girl for a hot little TT. I knew her from our old neighborhood waters, right? And I didn't like, bro. It was like, I guess enemies of friends and then friends or whatever, you know, shit like that. I did not like that girl, bro. I swear I did not like that girl, you know. Cause you know, with every girl, there's a neighborhood bop, the school bop, the eater, shit like that. With her, I just didn't like her ass. I didn't know what she was on. I just didn't like her. I didn't know if she was one of those. I just didn't like her. I don't know. I didn't like her sister. Still don't like her sister. My mama still don't like her sister. And the shit that she saw, I hope it didn't scar her. But hey, it is what it is. We gonna have to suck that shit up on some OG shit. But yeah, this one, I am banished from her parents' place, as I thought. Who wouldn't after the shit we did, you know? And I was supposed to cut all communications with her, and then yeah, I told her what her peoples told me, and she was like, no, yada yada yada, shit like that. We can figure it out. I don't want to do this. So, you know, right now we're just chilling by ourselves, man. You know what's crazy? All my life I only wanted to talk to one individual, but as you get older and you start to see that's damn near impossible. Because you know how people, you know, people that are not even religious will go to religion to try to shame you for how many people you have talked to or been with, you know. But then when it comes to them, they throw religion out the window. People only use religion when it's comfortable to them, you know. When it's suitable to them, that's the only time they use religion, which is crazy, right? I'm gonna hold you with my left hand now since I'm left-handed, which I don't, you know what's crazy? I'm left-handed, but I don't throw the football with the left. I throw my football with the right. It's crazy. I could throw with the left, but it's like, it's uncomfortable. Like my forearms feel like flamboyant, you know? But anyway, that's random. But yeah, with that girl, that individual, I hope, I hope she's doing well, you know? Has been a little minute, so your boy by himself. And that is fine. That is fine. Because either you're going to be a male whore, you know, or going to be by yourself, you know. But I'm glad to be born in the age where loving anime, shit like that, you're not ostracized for it, you know. If I was born in like my mom, like my mother's time, or anything like older than that, I know niggas would have been on my head. I know deep down, people still get on my head here and there, because I wasn't one of them corny anime watchers, you know, dressing up, fucking Naruto running during lunchroom and shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I fought with Pokemon, all type of shit. But I feel like all people do that, you know? Being a black nerd wasn't so-called cool, you know? But there's so many content creators and so many artists that made that shit cool now. So, like, you know, you don't really get a trip. But I feel like I had a little bit of leeway because I was quiet with it. But you gotta remember, I was a fat kid. I was fat as shit. Like, I lost weight. Like, I lost hella weight. Like, can you imagine me as a fat kid? Hell yeah. Matter of fact, I'm gonna show y'all guys some pictures when I get a chance. I was a fat kid with a fucking sky top. Wait, no. Was it a sky top or high? No. I was a fat kid with a high top, eating good, wearing button-ups, skinny jeans from American Eagle, and white Air Forces all day. I had no style. I have style now, but like I don't use it no more. I wear old head shit now. I wear simple shit. Yeah, but like, anyways, my love life, that is it. That is the so-called all illumin thing, to be continued, if we say. I would never get on my preference, but shit, let me not get hit. Oh, oh Lord. But if I, oh, I hate this. I don't like exposing my personal shit, but I like, I'm gonna be quiet with that. But I love people in the thicker caliber, you know, not like that, but like, you know, that weigh a little bit more than me. And there was a joke about me all the time that the only reason I started working out was to pick up big women, and that shit blew me. That shit blew me, cause when people say shit like that, I feel like it's like a type of, like, you're not giving them no characteristics, like they're more of a, not like an object, but they're more of a, you know, because you gotta think everybody has their own mind and their own type of thing. So like when you say that, I feel like it kind of like draws like a line in the sand when it comes to human beings, right? When you collectively put them all in a group. But that's your preference, you know. I love them all. You know, I love them diverse. But I gotta suck it. I'm getting older, so I don't want to put a lot of bullshit on the internet, you know, because I don't want to go to that pipeline of just fucking yada yada yada. They should do this, you should do that. There's certain shit you gotta do as a this gender. You know, because that is a hateful pipeline. I would never touch that. I don't even want to like get to that, but yeah, my preference in individuals are on the heavier side, and you know, firmly of my skin tone, or a little bit more melanated than me. You know, would I dabble in the snow? No sir, because I hate the cold. Land a nigga that, oh, oh shit. Oh, I dropped him. But yeah, land a nigga that hates the cold. How fitting, right? That's how to be. I don't know what I'm gonna put this title. I don't know what I'm gonna put this title, but I'm gonna make sure this shit is like 18 and plus. You know, 18 plus, cause there's some mature concepts in here and some immature concepts here and there. So yeah, but yeah. But even though if you wiped even all that away, you know, you wiped all that away, right? I could be brandished as because I always see myself as a bad person, not as like, oh, I steal, I kill, I hurt physically or mentally. It's just, I don't know. I feel like anything that bad to me is because of how I was before. So I'm like, okay, well, I deserve that, you know. And it's keep on coming my way. So I don't know if it's gonna be forever or it's gonna stop. Either way, I gotta suck. You gotta suck it up, Brady. You gotta suck that shit up. I just don't want to end up like, not my creator, but I don't want to end up like the people that telling me to be different, all right? Or you know, because either, as I said, you're a man whore, or you're this and the third, you know. I think the world has become over sexualized, and I have been a product of it, you know. Even when I changed and I told the individual about my so-called what that shit called? Damn. About it, it was it wasn't the proudest moment. I ain't gonna lie. I said I had a listening problem when I was younger, not knowing the damage it would do to my character. Telling that young ass individual, shit, I couldn't even say young. This one, she was, damn, only a couple of months, but that individual that had an immature mind, and then to use that to just use any problem, she'd be like, it's because of that. And I'm like, what the fuck? How does that even correlate? So sometimes it's not good to lie, but it's good to not show all your cards in your hand, you know. And I think that what causes problem. I wasn't trying to be mysterious. I speak less and less, and I just didn't feel like it was warranted to tell people the truth. Because if I know something's off about you, and you go around telling people shit, I'm like, well, I know I can't. Damn. Damn, Daniel, I done fuck up the Uptowns, twin. We gonna have to get home ASAP. But yeah, if I know you was on that type of time, best believe you ain't getting. Ah, fuck you. You're not. You're not getting like an answer out of me. You know. But yeah. Honestly, I think that's it though. We might call it quits, to be honest. You know, even though have matured, I still recollect all the bullshit I done, and I get like a self type of cringe every time I recollect something, because my memory is like semi iffy. So it's when it comes in, it comes in like a fucking wave of just, damn, why the fuck did I do that? Why did I say that? You know. But anyway, moral of the story, and my weird ass my unoriginal carbon copy love life is: you mature off your mistakes and the grace that is given to you by others, right? So even with that, just know I'm learning. I'm still a fucked up individual, as I would say, but I'm better now, you know. Well, I'm better in the aspect that I'm not gonna do the same shit I did before, and if I do, I'm won't excuse it, you know. I'm gonna be like, well, damn, what we learned, like solitude, what we learned, not to do that, you know. But yeah, I don't want to put on a facade that I'm just this just upstanding great guy with full of integrity, because I'm not, and I know that, you know. I know that, I'm fully aware. So when, you know, people go on the internet and trying to put on this facade, this character for not only entertaining purposes, but just to be that upstanding God, I'm like, damn, what are you faking it for? Ain't no reason to fake it. But it is what it is, bro. It is what it is. You know, what's in the dark shall always come to light, they say. On some Green Lantern shit. No? Okay. But damn, it's getting low-key cold. But we gonna have to eat it. But anyway, I got off topic real quick. But it's alright. It's alright. But I'm doing better. I wouldn't call myself a man, so to speak, but as a boy, I'm doing better. I'm I'm figuring out the highs and lows of my fluctuating mental. You know, physically, you know, I might look great, but I don't feel great inside. Honestly, I don't know what's next for me. I don't know if it's death or me figuring it all out. Either way, I know we're gonna do something better. But I'm not in the position to bless anybody. So that's why I want to get rich so bad, to change a lot of perspectives. But it was great talking to you, you know. Great little vent just as usual. And I hope you're having a good day. And I will see you tomorrow.